Hello and welcome again to our reading of the Gospel of John, and we had one verse left from chapter 7 and then we go into chapter 8. Now you'll see that it's got double square brackets here, and the Apparatus Criticus tells us that it's not in all of the ancient manuscripts, so I'll leave you to have a look at the commentaries to get all the details about that. Since it's in the text, I will translate it, but it may not have originally been part of the Gospel. I'll leave you to make your own decisions on that. Anyway, so verse 53 from chapter 7 simply says, Kai eporuthe, this is plural, and then it's followed by a singular, but that happens elsewhere in Greek and it happens in the New Testament, especially with this hekastos. So they went each one to his house. And then beginning of chapter 8, Jesus de poruthe, Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Now the orthru is one of the words for dawn, and it's in the genitive here, so it's either a genitive of time, at dawn. You might supply perhaps a participle from the verb to be, it being dawn, and take it as a genitive absolute. But anyway, the meaning's clear. So at dawn he went again, palin, or possibly back, into the temple, kai pas ho laos, and all the people, imperfect, erakontof and erchomai, were coming to him. Now kathisdo is to sit, and this is the aorist participle. So having sat, edidasken autus, this is the imperfect, he began to teach them. You could just say he was teaching them. I like for the imperfect to try and capture a sense of he began to do something. It's up to you how you translate that. Agus in de hoi grammates kai hoi pharisaioi. The scribes and the Pharisees, agusin, historic present from ago, they lead or they bring gunaika, a woman, epimoikea, kat a lemenain. Now the verb here is from kata lambano is the verb, kata lambano, and the stem of lambano is lab. And what often happens in some of the tenses of this, the alpha lengthens to an eta, so you get elephthane. Now because of where the ending of this is a perfect participle, perfect passive participle, because we've got a mu in the ending, in the beginning of the ending of the perfect passive participle, the B turns into, it nasalizes to a mu. This happens simply for them to make it easier to say, rather than saying elab menain, it's elemenain. So the beta in the root nasalizes to a mu before the mu. So this is an aorist, this is a perfect passive participle. It's feminine, agreeing with gunaika accusative. Epimoikea, well, it's perhaps in a state of adultery. It's an interesting use of epi. Epi has a huge range of meanings in classical Greek, not quite so broad in later Greek, but it's a preposition with many nuances and takes all three cases. So perhaps it's probably in a state of adultery here. Kai santes, this is the aorist participle. This is the transitive form, so having caused her to stand. So having stood her, en meso in the middle, legusin they say to him, historic present. Didaskali, O teacher, this woman, kat a leptai. Now again, as I mentioned, this is from kata lambano again. This is just the ordinary perfect here, third person singular. Now, as I mentioned, the stem here is lab with a beta. The alpha lengthens to an eta. And then we have here a dental. This is the unvoiced dental t, and the beta, which is a voiced labial, turns into the unvoiced labial p, as opposed to b, which has a voice, so that's the voiced labial. This is pi is the unvoiced labial to match up with the unvoiced dental in the ending. And so that's what's happening in the grammar here. But these forms are not quite so irregular as one is led to believe from some of the grammars. Anyway, so kateleptai is the perfect from katalambano. It can mean to arrest, to be caught, to be taken. It's got all those range of meanings. So this woman was caught. Moi kuomene, participle again, committing adultery, and then this is idiomatic really. An outer for is someone caught in the act of theft. For is an old word for a thief. Now it's lost that sense by this stage. It's just idiomatic in the sense of caught in the act. So this woman has been arrested, caught in the act committing adultery. So caught in the act of committing adultery. En deuteronomo, so the subject here is Moses. Moses in the law commanded to us lithasdain, to stone, tas toiautas, such women. This is from en telemai. This is the aorist. You get a vowel gradation from the e to an a. You lose one of the lambdas, and this is the ending is satot. The sigma disappears before the liquid letter lambda. So Moses commanded in the law to us to stone such women. You therefore, what do you say? And they were saying this, peirasdontes, testing him, participle, present participle. Hina, plus the subjunctive, in order that, now it's eskosin categorian autou, literally in order that they might have to make accusation of him. So you're using echo in the sense of to be able to, which is one of the usages of echo. It's got a range of different meanings here. In order that they might be able to make accusation. Categorio is always takes a genitive, to make accusation of someone or against someone, and so that's what it is. So in order that they might be able to make accusation of him. Hoder Jesus, but Jesus, now we get kato kupsas. Kupsas is the aorist participle from kupto, to bend. Kato is down. And we're going to see this verb appearing all the way through. We're going to get anakupso and katakupso and so on. Kupto, anakupto and katakupto. So when you look this up, it's kupto. So having bent down, kat egraphen, he was writing in, literally into the earth, so in the dirt, to dactylo, with his finger. Hosde, but when, emenon, this is imperfect from epimeno. Meno is to remain. The epi strengthens this in the sense that they persisted. They remained there continually. So when they were persisting, erotontes, asking him, this is participle from erotao, it's a contract alpha verb. The alpha plus the omicron contracts to an omega. So when they were persisting in asking him, anakupsen, from anakupto, this is to bend up, so i.e. to straighten up. So he stood up and he said to them, ho anamatetos. Now this is alpha privative plus the hamat root, we get hamatano, a sinner, and hamatano, I sin, and hamatolos, and so on. So this is without sin, and the new simply enables you to add in the alpha negative there. So the one without sin, humone among you, first let him cast a stone against her. So this is the aorist imperative, strong aorist imperative, third person singular, and protos is a noun here, so let him be the first one to cast, is the sense of it. So let him be the first one to cast a stone epautane against her. Kai palin, and again, katakupsas, bending down. Now interesting, we had variation again, we had katokupsas, having bent kato downwards, and now we just get the compound katakupsas. So having bent down again, he began writing egraphen imperfect in the dirt, in the ground. And we saw that he did this before. Yeah, again, for variation, we had catagraphen here and just the simple grapho here. Again, it's just variation. There's nothing deep or meaningful in it. Hoi de accusantes, but they, having heard, this is the imperfect, they began to go out, haste cath haste, one by one, arxamenoi, having begun from the elders, and we had a change of subject, he alone, kateleiphthe, this is from katalepo, and the pi in the root, lape, aspirates to a phi before the theta. So it's from katalepo, he alone was left, and the woman, usa participle from Amy, feminine participle, being in the middle. Anakupsas, and Jesus having got up, he said to her, Gunai. Now this is the imperative, sorry, not the, this is the vocative, I should say, from Gunai, and we're generally told it's an irregular vocative. These third declension vocatives, they're formed from the stem of the noun. So the noun, I should say, is Gunai, a woman. The genitive is Gunaikos, and chop off the ending. That's how from which we form the oblique cases. To take off the ending, we get Gunaik, and then the vocative, they've shortened it by chopping off the consonant. We just get Gunai, and that's where this form is coming from. It's sort of irregular, but it's not quite as irregular as the grammar books might have you believe. It is actually just the formed from the stem of the noun. But it's quite common, and it's one you should know. So, Gunai, O woman, where are they? And question, does nobody katakrino condemn you? So, krino to judge, katakrino is I condemn. Does no one condemn you? And she said, Udes, no one, Kuriet Lord. And Jesus said, Ude ego se katakrino, nor do I condemn you. Porue, go, and apotunun, and we have to supply chrono or something from the now time. So from now on, maketi, this is an imperative here, no longer sin. Now that's the end of the double square brackets, and so we get back to what's generally regarded as John again. Palin un autois elalasen ho Jesus lego. And again Jesus spoke to them then, saying, Ego eimi, I am the light of the world. Another one of these I am sayings. John is very fond of these. They're all the way through his gospel. I am the light of the world. The one following me, akoluthio takes a dative, ume, that's strong negative, in no way, peripatese takes followed by a subjunctive. In no way will he walk in darkness, ente scotia. But hexe, future from echo, he will have the light of life. He will have the light of life. Echo has its future hexo, for various reasons I haven't got time to go into. Apon, the Pharisees then said to him, you bear witness regarding yourself, and your witness is not true. And Jesus answered and said to them, Khan for kai e'an, okay, kai plus e'an, and if it's even if I bear witness regarding myself, my witness is true. Hoti, because oida I know from whence I came and where hubago I depart. You do not know from whence I am coming or where I am departing, where I am going. You lot, krinete, you judge kata ten saka according to the flesh. I do not judge udena. Nobody, I do not judge no one. So Greek has this double negative. So we say I do not judge anyone. Greek says I do not judge no one. I do not judge anyone. And if I do judge, hekrisis, my judgment is true. Hoti, because monos uk eimi, I am not alone, but so we have to understand there is I and the Father, the one having sent me. And in your law, gegraptai, it has been written, perfect passive here from grapho, that the witness duo anthropon of two men is true. I am the one witnessing regarding myself, and the one having sent me, the Father, bears witness regarding me. They therefore began to say to him, where is the Father? Where is your Father? And Jesus answered, Ute, now we get ute, neither do you know me, from oida, this is the second person plural, neither do you lot know me, nor understand do you know my Father. Eime eidete, if you knew, this is the past tense from oida, if you knew me, also you would know my Father. Again from oida. He spoke these baramata, these words, en to gadzafulakio, this is I think in the temple treasury, teaching. So teaching in the temple treasury. In the holy place. In the Hieron, in the temple. So he spoke this teaching in the temple, in the temple treasury. Kai udes, and no one epiasen, this is from the piazdo, to arrest or grab or lay hands on, and no one arrested him, because hora autu, his hour not yet had come. This is the pluperfect from Urkamai. And John often talks about this idea, his hour having come. So we'll finish at that section and continue in a later video.